My dear students and all the viewers, today we are going to start the very first chapter of Real English. This chapter is for comprehension purpose and it may be asked some questions from the chapter, so you have to go through it very thoroughly. The very first chapter is how daddy was always late. Actually, this is the description of a daddy when he was in his childhood. Actually, when he was in his childhood, he was always late. And what were the causes of his late? We'll discuss here, particularly in this chapter. So, we are coming to the line. When daddy was late, he went to school just like all other children. When daddy was little, when daddy was very small, he was in very small age, he went to school just like other children. All the other children came to school before the bell rang. But this was the usual habit of the students that they have to reach the school before time. But little daddy was always late and he always reached his school late for some reason or the other. So daddy's parents could not do a thing about it, but anyhow, his father did not do anything better and he could not improve the condition. Every evening, the same old story. What was the story? What happened to every evening? Have you done your homework? Grandma asked. Grandma would ask him, "Have you done your homework?" The little daddy replied, "Wait a second. Stop that reading and start your homework immediately," Grandpa would say. Then Grandpa already scolded him. "Oh, stop that reading." Actually, father used to read some interesting books or novels, whatever maybe. So Grandpa just scolded him to stop and say, "Start your homework immediately." Daddy requested him just one more page. Little daddy would finish the page and start a new one. He just could not put down an interesting book to start doing the dull lesson. Actually, in doing homework, he had no interest. According to him, it was the dull lesson, and reading the book was quite interesting for him. "Just one more page," little daddy would answer. He again requested just he should be allowed for one more page. "Put the book down. Wait a second. Put that book down. Wait a second." Means he requested his father to allow him to go through one more page or for a few seconds more, but the grandfather and grandmother both insisted him to put down the book and start doing homework. Finally, grandpa and grandma would lose their patience and they would snatch little daddy's book from him. Ultimately, what happened? Grandpa and grandmother both became very angry. They lost their patience and ultimately they snatched the daddy's book from him. "You will end up a lazy good for nothing," they threatened, and ultimately they threatened him that you will be a dull boy, you will be good for nothing, means you will be useless boy. In future, you cannot do anything. Good for nothing means you cannot do anything in the future. Then little daddy would feel offended after after hearing this type of remarks. Little daddy became very sad. He would begin to weep and demand his book. He began to weep there, and even in the course of weeping, he demanded his book. He said that he would not start his homework until they gave it back to him. So the evening, same story was repeated in the evening also. In evening would slip away when little daddy finally sat down to. So the evening would slip away as when little daddy finally sat down to do his homework. When in the evening he sat for doing his homework, he felt sleepy. He did his homework in a daze, means in a very dull condition. He not at all interested in doing homework. So by the time he was through, it would really be late, and grandpa and grandma would be exhausted. He started doing his homework late, and even in that condition, he was found himself very dazed. So grandmother and grandfather became very exhausted. They became very angry. In the morning, it was a different story. Grandma would say, "Get up." Actually, daddy had the habit of uh, waking up very late. So, little daddy also said, Grandma always insisted him to get up early, but little daddy said, "Wait a second." Grandma again said, "Get up." Again he said, "Wait a second. You are late." Everyone knows how hard it is to get up when you went to bed late the night before. So here the author says that everybody knows very well that when a person goes very late at night for sleeping, then it is very difficult for that person to get early in the morning. So you have all your sweetest dreams in the morning, especially if you have to go to school. So if a person has to go to school, all the morning sleep is really very good. So time marched steadily on while little daddy, stressed and yawned, pulled his clothes on, sleepily washed, dozed through his breakfast, and finally managed to get his books together. So time marched, time just passed very smoothly, and daddy stretched his body, yawned there, and pulled his clothes on, sleepily washed, dozed through his breakfast, and finally managed to get his books all together to start the school. So when he was out of the house and running to school, since little daddy did his homework at the last minute, since the homework was done in a very hasty time, in very uninteresting way, he never did it well. Since he was always late for school, he often missed the teacher's explanation of a new subject. In the beginning, when the teacher gives some introduction of any chapter, he always missed that introduction part because he always reached school very late. This made it harder for him to understand what the rest of the class was doing. So it was very difficult for him to understand the things, understand the matter, understand the topics, what was taught to them. So, little daddy was always late all his life. So, not only this was the mode of his school days, but even in his life, little daddy was always late, and he was late for school, late for college, late for work. He lost on many things in life because of this awful habit. And due to this late habit, he lost out on many things in life. He missed a lot of things in life because of his this awful habit. Awful means bad. So because of this bad habit, his friends loved to tell funny stories about his being late, and so many stories were just told by his friends for his late doing everything. So even now, daddy does not know how to walk slowly. Actually, daddy does not know how to walk slowly, but he is always in a hurry because he is used to being late. He never goes in a normal speed. He always go very fast because he is always in a hurry, because he is always late condition. He always start for anywhere late or after the appropriate time. So, in this way, what we have learned from this story? From this story, we have learned that the habit of being late is really very awful, and daddy had the habit of late arrival to any particular place or to school or college or to work office anywhere, and for this he lost on many things in life. So, all the students are advised to get up early, reach everywhere just before time, not after time. I don't want to say you reach there just 1 hour before, just 2 minutes, 5 minutes, just you have to arrive there before time, because it is the way of success. If you will give importance to time, the time will give importance to you. So, this is the lesson from this particular story. Now, here are some questions. Actually, questions may come from the inside of the book, but here are some questions you have to do comprehension. Choose the correct answer. Little daddy was different from all the other children because they all come to school before the bell rang. Yes, they all come to school before the bell rang. They did not read books. Little daddy was always late for school. So, what may be the answer from all the three. The first one, they all came to school before the bell rang, but daddy come after the bell rang. So A number answer is correct. Second one, this is not the reason why the grandparents would lose their parents with little daddy. This is not the reason why the grandparents would lose. He would not keep the book down, he would not do his homework, and he would weep. This is not the reason why the grandparents would lose their patience. So he would not keep the book down. This is not the reason why the grandparents, yes, he would not do his homework. These two were the reasons, and he would not do, this is not the reason. He would weep. Little daddy did his homework in a daze because he felt sleepy. He wanted to finish it fast. His parents scolded him. So the best answer for this question will be he felt sleepy. Little daddy did his homework in a daze because he felt sleepy. So if any person will do his homework in a dazed condition, in a sleepy condition, it will be uninteresting. So this type of questions may be asked in the exam, optional type questions, or maybe some questions be given in the form of writing also from inside the book. So you have to go through the chapter very thoroughly, and after that the questions based on little daddy did his homework at the last minute. Little daddy did his homework at the last minute. So what was the effect of this? The homework was never perfect. The homework was not good. It was always imperfect. Second one, here the cause you have to write. He was always late for school. He was always late for school. So what was the cause? Because he got up very late. He got up very late. That's why he was always late for school. The third one, he often missed the teacher's explanation of a new subject. This is the cause. So what was the effect of this one? That he did not understand the chapter, or you can say that he often missed the teacher's explanation. So this made it harder for him to understand what the rest of the class was doing. It was very difficult for him to understand what the teacher was teaching. So this type of questions may be asked. So we have explained here first, second and third questions. First question and second question. In first question there were three questions, and the second one, cause and effect, you have to write it in your homework, in your copy. Next after that there is the vocabulary. This is the grammar part. So you can do it as in your homework in grammatical part. In comprehension part, most of the questions will come just like this one, optional type, and cause effect, or may be asked from inside of the book. They may be the in question answer format. These three type of questions will be asked. So thank you for today. This is the end of the class, and the next day we will start another thing. Okay, thank you very much.